In today's video, I will show you a gaming PC that's around $1,000 and has the RTX 3060ti, which it was something impossible to make about a year ago, and the CPU that I'm going to pair it with is going to be also a great CPU that you can pair with even higher end GPUs, so if you want to upgrade it later on, you have a great CPU to support new GPUs. But before starting, I want to say that if you're looking for a Prebuilt PC instead, because you don't want to build it by yourself, you can watch my video about the best Prebuilt gaming PCs overall for this month in the top right of the screen, or you can go to the description and you will see a bunch of gaming desktops as well with the PC build of this video. With that being said, let's start. With the CPU we have the 12th gen of Intel, the i5-12400F. Now because this is a gaming PC build, the 12400F is going to be enough, but if you're also a content creator, I would suggest you to upgrade this one to the 12400 non-F version, because you get that iGPU that is going to help you out with video editing programs. But if you're just for gaming, the 12400F is definitely going to be more than enough. And like I said at the beginning, if you want to upgrade the GPU in the future to, let's say, the RTX 3080, then there's going to be no problems with this CPU, so no bottlenecks at all. Then for the CPU cooler, I went with the ID Cooling SE214XT ARGB. This is a nice looking cooler and it's going to keep the i5-12400F quiet, so for just $20 you're getting a quieter experience. And also temps are going to be just fine, so you don't have to worry about overheating. Then for the motherboard, I went with the Gigabyte B660M. This is a micro ATX motherboard for a micro ATX build, and these were mostly the price is going to cut down, because if you want to make a fully ATX PC build, it's going to cost you around $100 extra, and the performance is going to be the same. One thing I have to say though is that this motherboard doesn't come with Wi-Fi included, so you will need to buy a Wi-Fi adapter or connect it directly to your router. Then for the RAM, I went with the Silicon Power 60 gigs of RAM 2x8. This is a dual channel memory, 3200 MHz at CL16. This is all that we're going to need, and the price is $47, the best in terms of price to performance on the market right now. If you want RGB, you're looking to spend at least 30 extra bucks, and that's why I didn't go with RGB. Then for the storage, I went with the Crucial P2 500 gigs of M.2 NVMe SSD. I do recommend you 1 TB, but remember that we are on a tight budget, $1,000, and you have to prioritize the graphics card and the CPU for the best performance, because these other upgrades are really easy upgrades to make and you can do them down the line if you can't right now. But I do recommend you staying until the end of the video, because I will recommend you some upgrades in case you have a higher budget, but also some downgrades if you have a lower budget. Then for the GPU, we have the MSI GeForce RTX 3060ti with 8 gigs of VRAM. This is a great GPU for both 1080p and 1440p. If you're going with a 1080p monitor, this one is the highest end graphics card in my opinion for 1080p. You shouldn't spend more than this for a 1080p graphics card, and you can even argue with going for the RTX 3060 or the 6650 XT instead of the 3060ti if you're going to game at 1080p. But if you're going for 1440p, the 3060ti is going to make much more sense. I actually tested this graphics card on a 1440p monitor that I'm going to be reviewing soon, so click that bell button if you want to get notified when I upload that video. But in conclusion, this graphics card is able to run basically everything, even at 1440p, so don't worry if you play Fortnite, Valorant, Red Dead Redemption 2, whatever game you want to play, this game is going to be able to run it at least 60 FPS on average, and competitive titles are above 200 FPS at all times. Then for the case, I went with the DEEPCOOL MATREXX 40 with 3 fans included actually. The price is $65, and this is such a good price for a case that's great for the airflow, but it also comes with 3 fans included, so the airflow overall is going to be awesome. So $65 for this case is an absolute steal. And last but not least, we got the power supply. I went with the EVGA SUPERNOVA 650 watt 80 plus gold certified power supply. This one is going to be enough for our build. You can actually downgrade it a little bit and still get a great power supply for this build, but if you want future upgradability, I recommend you going with this one. Is also fully modular, which is something that will help you out when you're trying to build it. But one thing that I have to say is that I also recommend you upgrading this power supply if you're going to upgrade the GPU with the super high-end GPU like the RTX 3080 and above, because you will need more wattage for those graphics cards. So the total price for this PC build is $1,017. It's an insane price right now, and this is because GPUs are getting closer and closer to MSRP, and even some GPUs are below MSRP right now, but most of them are getting closer, and this is why the price is really good at the moment. So for $1,000 you're getting a great 1440p gaming experience. Now I will tell you how to downgrade this PC without losing much performance in case you have a lower budget. So the two components that you want to change, first of all, is going to be the CPU cooler. You want to go with the Intel stock CPU cooler. Temps are going to be just fine, but it's going to be a louder experience, so I do recommend you putting a different CPU cooler down the line. And the second part is going to be the power supply. I went with the 650 watt 80 plus bronze power supply. This is a non-modular power supply, but the brand is EVGA, which is a great brand, so this power supply is going to be enough for our build still. The total price for this PC is around 980 bucks, so you end up saving $40 and the performance is going to be just the same. And if you have a higher budget, I do recommend you going for a 750 watt 80 plus gold power supply to have that freedom of upgrading the GPU to a super high-end GPU if you want later on. Then you need to upgrade the storage to at least 1 TB of SSD, and the last part is buying the i5 12400 instead of the 12400F, because that iGPU only costs around $30 of difference, and believe me, that is going to make a difference if you like content creation, and if you don't, maybe in the future you start making content or anything, this will help you out a lot. And if you do all of these upgrades, the total price will be around $1,100, which I think is still a great price for the type of PC that you're getting. So that was my whole video. If you found it helpful, please leave a like and subscribe. Most importantly, hit that bell button so you get notified when I upload this type of content, which I do from 3 to 5 times a week. Thank you guys for watching, thank you for the support, and I will see you on the next one.